Hi everyone. It's time for another visual blog where me as an author reads to you what I write. So you'll see me looking at my screen quite often because I need to read what I actually wrote. And today I got a question or a thought for you. What if it's not all about perfection? Several years ago, on a snowy gray November afternoon, I was in the mood for a tearjerker. I searched for tearjerkers on Rotten Tomatoes and a 2-star film popped up. I must admit, I sometimes really enjoy a good old-fashioned so bad it's good movie. And the reviews for this particular flick fit that bill. But within 10 minutes of watching, I was heartbroken, but not for the reasons you might expect. What broke my heart wasn't the tragic storyline itself. It was the faith message of a specific religious group that sponsored the film. They relentlessly pushed their doctrine with every horrible tragedy the young heroine cheerfully faced. The underlying message was, if you are good, you might make it to heaven one day, and perhaps you might be reunited with your loved ones. This movie was released years before the Duggar scandal, even though its doctrines hold definite parallels to the belief of the Duggars. Both emphasize being bright and shiny, perfect on the inside and the outside. There was so much pressure to perform. If you're good enough, suffer bravely enough, or selfless enough, then perhaps God will grant a miracle for you or someone you love who desperately needs one. If your spiritual report card is all A's, you receive more clout in the heavenly realm, and the best way you know you have that clout is by some sort of mystical or emotional ecstatic experience. So often it's tempting to perceive warm, fuzzy feelings as indicators of God's pleasure over us. Now, do not get me wrong, emotions are wonderful, necessary, and welcomed, but they are not always carriers of truth or necessarily a confirmation of truth. The danger of mistaking an emotional response for truth should make us a little bit more cautious and discerning in our faith journey. According to the doctrine of the movie's producers, Jesus served primarily as an example of a godly life. They see him as somebody to admire and emulate, but they are missing a piece of the puzzle. They need a deeper understanding of the redemptive power of the cross and the significance of Jesus' resurrection. According to the Christian faith, Jesus Christ lived a perfect, sinless life and paved the way for our salvation. Our strict adherence to societal or religious rules does not earn us favor in God's eyes. Sorry to burst your bubble. Quite the contrary, we already have access to the love and favor of our Heavenly Father. We just need to walk through the open door. Jesus' death and resurrection are that door. The only way we can walk through that door is by admitting it's not by our good works, sacrificial living, or noble suffering, but simply by surrendering to the love of Jesus and laying down our self-righteousness. The tearjerker film I watched highlights the dangers of viewing faith through performance and perfectionism. It's easy to confuse emotional experiences with divine approval, but salvation isn't all about being good enough. It comes from transformational love given to us by Jesus Christ. By understanding just what his death and resurrection accomplished, we can move beyond a transactional faith and embrace the unmerited grace that defines our relationship with God.